Hey guys, hi everyone. We're back for another deep dive in terms of Dito. And over the past few weeks, I got more and more questions regarding Dito. So, in this video, I just want to make sense and give you update and context of what's happening in Dito. And I've structured this video based on this following topics: the targets of Dito Telecommunity for 2021, an update on Dito's base stations, especially for those who want to know more on what's happening on a business level. Because as you all know, it's very, very important to see how a company is also faring. Because at the end of the day, it's how the business is run and how the earnings will come out also later on. Then how much has Dito spent over the past uh, from its past expenditures to what it plans to spend as well. Then one of the biggest questions that I would normally get, mali pa yung mali pa yung numbering ko, but anyways, who is Dito CME? Who is Dito Telecommunity? Who owns Dito Telecommunity? And what has not changed in terms of the business of telecommunications as a whole. So if you guys are ready, comment I'm ready, comment I'm excited, comment I want to learn more. Please do note though that whatever is mentioned here is mainly to give you information, to give you data that you're supposed to process, that you're supposed to decide on, that you're supposed to take the time and the due diligence to process the information by your own, but never, ever, ever, ever buy, sell, hold, or avoid the stock just because it's mentioned in YouTube. That's very irresponsible. It's very, very important that since it's your money, it's your responsibility, you have to learn how to decide on your own. And if even if a friend tells you to buy, your neighbor, your barber, your girlfriend, you hear it on the news, you hear it on television. Do not just buy just because you hear it there. You have to decide it on your own. You have to set your parameters on what will cost you to buy, what will cost you to sell, what will cost you to take profits, and what will cost you to cut. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to the stock market, it will always be about what your parameters are, what your rules are, and what your strategies are. That being said, I hope you guys are excited and I hope you learn from this. And the whole goal and intention of why I just create videos for all of you is just to give you as much information as possible. So, alam niyo yun, when it comes to investing, it's all about how you process the information, which will allow you to win repeatedly over a stretched period of time. Now, I want to mention this though. Some key metrics that Tito needs to meet is that the target. No, I made another video off of this a couple of months back, but it still hasn't changed. They need 86% coverage by 2021. So that's something, especially for people who are tracking their story, how good they will be, how will they fare up against PLDT, up against Globe, and also the parameters that have been set out by the government. So at least they need 86% coverage by 2021, which is also a few months away from now. Just an update also, as of their base stations, they currently have 1,532 base stations, as based on their disclosure last October uh, 2. So it could be more already now since this video is being published November 2020. But as of the October 2020, their base stations are 1,532, and their target, which is more than enough to get 37% of the population coverage based on this. So I repeat, 1,532 base stations as of October 2 is enough for them to at least cover 37% of the population. And they aim not to accelerate that to around 2,000 base stations by the end of 2020. So November, they have less than 60 days to be able to pull that through. But by the count that they're in, they're very, very close na rin naman to be able to hit that particular number. But if there's one thing that stands out here, it's this, that it's enough to satisfy a target of at least 37% of the population, which is, for those who are tracking the Dito telecommunity story, this is what it mainly is. Anyways, in terms of what Dito has spent, they spent over 150 billion pesos over the past over from its start to where we are right now, which is, please do note, it's very contextual. Kasi even if you look at PLDT, even if you look at Globe, they have been spending massive amounts of money on a yearly basis. And they have been way ahead in terms of outlining, outlaying all of their expenses already. So while Dito is spending a lot of money, Globe and PLDT is also spending also a lot of money, and they continually plan to spend 257 billion pesos to continue to ultimately, have faster speeds, data speeds, mobile browsing, internet speeds to Filipinos. And the more they spend, please remember, when it comes to telecom, it's all about infrastructure. The more expensive you are, the more infrastructure you put in, the more expensive it gets. But the more the groundwork is in, the faster the experience will be. And at the end of the day, we are now living in a new normal where the most important thing is also speed and the timeliness of data, that people who are working from home, people who are working remotely, people who are relying on streaming, people who are doing e-commerce get to use the internet to their advantage. Now, let's continue. Uh, for those who are asking, who, what's the difference? There's so many, there's so many Ditos out there. Dito CME, Dito Holdings, Dito Telecommunity. I hope this portion of the video attempts to at least clarify and give you enough information so you get to decide on it properly. But if you guys have any questions, just in case I would have missed out on something, please feel free to put it in the comment section, and then I'll try to answer it off another video, or I'll try to, at least if it's easy to answer or mabilis lang, 1 2 sentences lang, I can reply to your comments. So by the way, for those who want to get in touch with me, best way is to put a comment in the comment section, whatever your question is, whatever your comment is, slide a DM via Instagram or message me via Patreon or our Patreon community. So anyways, so Dito CME, basically, this was the if you remember it, a couple of months ago when I was doing a lot of the stocks by request, the ticker code of this in the stock market was ISM. Then a couple of months back, around June, they just changed it from ISM into Dito, DITO, which is Dito CME. So what is Dito CME? It's basically a holding company which houses telecoms, which houses multimedia, and which houses information technology. This used to be also a former brand company under Dennis Uy Udenna, and then they just went into ISM. Then eventually they changed ISM into Dito CME, which is the stock ticker Dito. So if there's something that's medyo magulo at any point in this, please just put a comment on it, and then I'll try to make more videos to bring clarity to all of you. So this is essentially what Dito CME is. This is yung nakikita yung ticker sa stock market na dito. Ito yung gumagalaw. Uh, ito yung I've been posting charts on over the past few months. Anyways, as per ownership, this is something that's, since Dito CME is a listed company, it's easy for you to see who the owners are of the company. So basically, these are the top 10 shareholders of the company. So it's easy also for you to know who has majority ownership. It's easy for you to know also uh, the the aspects of how many shares are owned and then the percentages attached to it. So as for the listed company, as for Dito CME, this is the breakdown from 1 to 10. So I repeat, this is the breakdown from 1 to 10. And please do note that Dito CME, as what I've mentioned, is a holding company which houses telecom, multimedia, and information technology. Now let's continue. Comment below if you're learning. Comment if this is something that's helping you. And if it is, I'd appreciate it if you could press the like button or put a comment, because it greatly helps the YouTube algorithm to help educate more Filipinos in terms of learning in the stock market and having more data and information attached to it. So, anyways, let's proceed to Dito Telecommunity. What I've discussed so far is Dito CME. I want to talk about Dito Telecommunity. This is what is poised to be the third player. So, Dito Telecommunity is the third major telecommunications provider in the Philippines, and what made them the third telco, because they were granted the certificate of public convenience and necessity by the NTC, which happened July 2019. Please remember, months and years also before that, that was something that people were bidding for. That's why people were talking about now telecom. People were talking about Miss Latel at that time. Please remember, no, it was Dito Telecommunity was previously Miss Latel as well. It was branded as Miss Latel. Then there were other bidders also that wanted to take the third telco space. So essentially, Miss Latel won, it got rebranded to Dito Telecommunity. I guess pare-pareho yung names niya. That's why some people, it gets interchanged as well. So to look at who owns Dito Telecommunity, it's basically this. 60% of Dito Telecommunity is Udenna, which is also Dennis Uy, slash Chelsea, which is also Dennis Uy. Chelsea, though, is a listed company. It's in the stock market. Then 40% is China Telecom. Please do note that in the Philippines, or at least for the telcos, uh, locals should own majority of the ownership of a company. There could be foreign investors, but majority, the decision makers should still be Filipinos. However, there's a large argument about it opening up the economy to foreigners because it limits also the amount of capital that they can also infuse. Please remember, in terms of local versus foreign, if you unlock the potential of foreigners putting in money to the country, there will be larger benefits. Also, again, there will be some pros and cons. It reduces control, or at least they may beat out the local businesses here. But imagine the onslaught of the fusion of capital that will be in the Philippines if uh, foreigners are allowed to own businesses, or at least have a majority stake. So as of this time, while we're making this video, China Telecom has 40% just to abide by the rules of ownership of companies here in the Philippines. So next, I want to mention this. If you break it down further, Udenna owns 35%, Chelsea owns 25%, then China Telecom owns 40%. So, but essentially, no, Udenna and Chelsea is basically still Dennis Uy. So, the control is still Dennis Uy still. But there was a disclosure also over the past few days that Chelsea sold 25% of its stake to Dito Holdings, which is also, again, Dennis Uy. In my opinion, no, this move does not change anything. It's still Dennis Uy are running the show. It's still their group running the show. It's just shares swapping hands. Chelsea is owned. It's a publicly listed company, but it's owned by Dennis Uy still. Dito Holdings is a private company, which is also owned by Dennis Uy still. So it just essentially just moved hands. Please do note that this by any means does not change the fundamentals of the company. It does not change anything in terms of how it earns, how will it not earn, what it what its potential customers are. Will customers switch to them? By all means, that does not change any of that. This is basically uh this is basically structures of shares just for the company. Okay. Now, this is how it will look like after. Udenna still the same, 35%. Then Dito Holdings now would own 25%. Then China Telecom still would own 40%. Essentially, from what I showed you earlier here, it's still like this, that uh, Chinatel owns 40%, then Dennis Uy Philippines owns 60%. That's how essentially it will look like. So from Chelsea, it just got replaced in terms of ownership via Dito Holdings. It's not like there's an outside company that came in, bought it. It's not like that. It's not like what you see in the movies na may bumili 25%, 30%, or at least try to get a piece of the majority of the company to get control. It's not like that. It's still the same. It's not an outside entity. It's not another. It's not us seeing like Liu Tan entering the game, or Injupsi or other conglomerates. It's still the same company running the show. So please, in terms of leadership, in terms of direction, in terms of plans, my opinion, this does not change anything. Anyways, so in terms of, for those asking about Chelsea, this removes. Please remember, between the two, Udenna is not listed. Chelsea is listed. This removes the listed company's exposure to Dito. I repeat, this removes the listed company's exposure to Dito Telecom, because Dito Telecommunity, because now the 25% that used to be for the Dito Telecommunity is now with Chelsea, for Dito Telecommunity is now with Dito Holdings. And the only exposure that Chelsea will have will be indirectly via the shares that it owns via Dito Holdings. So it's now just an indirect play, but again, Nothing has changed in ownership. Nothing has changed in terms of the direction of the company. Anyways, so what does this do to Chelsea? Chelsea will be fully engaged right now in the shipping and transport business. And for those who have been in the market longer, for those who have been tracking Chelsea, please do note that Chelsea primarily was a logistics shipping company to begin with, and it just brings it back to its very core of what it really is. That's why napaisip din ako before when Chelsea got exposed to Dito. Parang I was actually thinking that it's not, it's okay. A lot of companies have done that in the past, but this also makes sense in a way that it allows Chelsea to just primarily be a shipping and transport company. And Dennis Uy naman has different umbrellas, different companies that have different exposures. That's why it's more of a segregation of the structure of the shares. Comment below if you're learning. Comment if this is something that's helping you. Comment that kung nag-gets nyo yung explanation ko as well. And if you want more of this webinar type of videos. And please do note that all of this, what this really does is, the winners of all of this is it's good for all of us consumers. And I've been mentioning this in a lot of the videos that I have been making, that the winner in all of this is more internet providers, better choices for consumers, faster internet speeds for consumers. At the end of the day, regardless of what happens with Dito, with Globe, and with PLDT, Filipinos will have more options, and having more options allows them either to get things cheaper, or it will push companies to up their game and give better speeds to people, and which is the whole underlying context kung bakit pinag-uusapan yung third telco at the end of it all. I'd also want to mention this though, that I've said this on a video previously, that if they're the third player, Dito is a third player, it does not guarantee immediately that they will earn a lot of money. It just gives them a foot into the game. It just places them that, kumbaga sa basketball, they entered, kumbaga sa NBA, they're an expansion team. It does not mean that they will win the championship. It just gives them the right to compete. It just gives them the right to play. It just gives them the right to fight against the incumbents, fight against who the previous champions are. So please do note that when you start analyzing also, that's very, very important to note, because people have this notion that when Dito is there, it makes them a really, really good company quickly. Please do note that it gets them into the game. We still have to see. It still has to be proven how good they will be when they play the game. And if there's one thing that I do know, a couple of things. Dennis Oy is new into this. This is not something that he has really he has exposure in. Please remember yung negosyo niya when he started out was gas stations, Phoenix Petroleum. That was his primary business before all of this, before this large conglomerate that he's massively building. But you can't also underpin that China Telecom, and I think that's one of the things that is so important to this, is that China Telecom will be adding their expertise to this. So China Telecom is not just adding their, hindi lang pera yung binibigay nila, they're adding their technology, they're adding the things that they know, they're adding their best practices. So somehow this will speed up, I guess, the learning curve for them. But in essence, so if you try to analyze it, that's how also Globe is doing well, because they have Singtel with them, part of their game too. So anyways, by the time we're making this video, it's November 2020. Please remember that even there's restructuring movements of shares, it does not underpin the fact that they don't have customers yet. And what you need to watch out for is when they start operating March 2021, which is December, January, February, March, 4 months away from this video being done, because that will give you a snapshot already of how they're earning. That will give you a snapshot already of how big their sales will be, how much, and I will look at how big of a chunk of the market share they will get, because it will be now a market share play. How good will PLDT and Globe be to retain their customers, and how good will Dito be to somehow pry those customers with them, or somehow convince them, like what Sun Cellular did na, okay lang magkaroon ng dalawang SIM, parang gano'n, parang you can have Globe and then you can have Sun for your only calls and text. So we have to see what will be their plans for it. It will be, in my opinion, it will be a marketing and sales play, whoever does well, and then later on also siguro customer service already, how they service their customers, because at the end of the day, if they get people to switch but the experience or at least the customer service is not as good, it will be also easy for them to revert back once again. So there, if there's one thing that I want you to watch out for, it's when they actually start operating already and how big their earnings will be in line with that. So just to recap, this is what we talked about. Target for 2021, base stations, expenditures, who is Dito CME, who is Dito Telecommunity, who owns Dito, what has not changed. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below. Slide it via Instagram DMs. I'll put it in the description below how you can follow me on Instagram. Then you can send me a message also via our Patreon community. And for those who want to support this channel, I have a link below for our YouTube community. Those are for people who just want to support. Then, yun, these are my two channels. I post daily content. If you're just new to this, I place daily content on both of my channels. This is my first one, my primary channel, where we have over 1,600 plus videos already, where we have the basics of the market, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, everything's there. And then this channel, Stock Investing Made Easy, where we do a lot of raw technical analysis, vlog type, and also this type, webinar type of content for all of you. So there, if you got value from this, again, I appreciate it if you could press the like button, share this to your friends, put a comment below. Let's keep information like this relevant to more and more Filipinos, because at the end of the day, this is something that when people get a grasp of how investing in the market is, I really believe it will change their lives. It will help them grow more and more and more. And I hope that my channel, what I do, is something that makes you grow as an investor, because that's all I want. And that's why I never tire making videos like this, because I just want to see a generation of people not just rise up, do well, do better, and earn, but we inspire the next set of people, the people who are younger than us. I know my following is around 30 plus years old, mid 20s, 30s, my age, and then 40s. That we inspire people who are younger than us to become, we see more multimillionaires that are younger, more multimillionaires in their early 20s, that it can be done via entrepreneurship, via investing, via being frugal, via saving, via not spending a lot when you're younger, but plowing everything into the ground. So there, I hope you guys got a lot from this. Videos will pop up here if you want to know more also and watch more videos. You can click all of those as well. So there. By the way, just an announcement. If you stayed up until this time, it's the 22-minute mark. Comment I stayed up until the end. This video will be out around 5 p.m. Expect me talking about Jollibee, it breaking out maybe an hour and a half after that, mga 6:30. Then 8 p.m. we have another deep dive of fundamental analysis. So I have 3 videos lined up. If I have the time, maybe somewhere in the evening we get to do another stocks by request session. So if you guys have any stocks that you guys want me uh to comment on, put them in the comment section below, and I'm gonna try as much as I can to be able to somehow, some way also what do you call this? Feature the stocks that you guys want me to analyze. And that's what I've promised, Bate, for those that nagpapa-shout out here. I'm gonna read your comments here. Mary Teodoro, regular yan. Si Louis Cesar, regular din yan. Ariel of Francia, asking for the difference between Dito and Dito Telco. This is for you. Jess Canlas, hello to you, Jess Canlas. Addison Laila, bot yata siya. Alfie Serrano, thanks for the Dito analysis. El Lauyet, Josie Tanyedong, mukhang si Josie kasi okay yung Jollibee, regular din si Josie. Jericho Hayo, si Miss A, regular na siya. Kulas Boy, Assassination Gaming, Jasper Sison, Burn to Be You, Tyron Aparacio, si Burn to Be You, sobrang yaman niya na taga Qatar. Jonas Soria, K. Malyari, Patrick Miguel, very, very regular. Travel Thrill Seekers, Rose Popov, John Iglesia, Mary Jane Ong, Wilson Melandris, Bluefin, Ragsakan. I guess that's it. So if you guys want a shout out, just put your name and then shout out, or kung mapapabati ka, just put it in the description. We'll try to talk about it sa dulo. So there, I guess that's it for now. This is Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.